is Monty once again. We've got a windy morning going on here in Camarillo, California. Looks like it's going to be a nice sunny day, but just got a little bit of wind going on, so bear with me as I take care of a few things and get out of the immediate direction of the wind. So let's see, just 1 second here. Excuse the noise. So how are you guys doing today? While I try to find a place it's not so windy outside. I like to record the podcast outside now because it's just nice outside. I'm outside anyway, doing my chores. So let's see how long this lasts over here. So what's going on? Look like the emerging markets, the debt markets, the small cap markets, and the large cap markets are all looking pretty depressed. Now, this is not good news typically, you guys, going forward. I've been investing for a long time. And usually you don't have so many large markets, including real estate, that are taking a crap at the same time. Usually there's rotations from one sector to the other. If investors typically don't like large cap, they put money into small caps, and that tends to, perform well. And then, or because the small caps are performing well, so money goes into that area. Or real estate, if the stock market is not looking good, maybe more money flows into real estate because that's performing well, that's holding up, right? But if the small cap market for stocks and the large cap market for stocks is not performing well, and the real estate market doesn't seem to be giving good returns, then what what else do you do? Okay, you take a look at the debt markets. If you look at the debt markets, they don't seem to be looking that good because, believe it or not, there's so much debt outstanding between corporate America and government, in addition to household debt, because those markets are so saturated with so much debt. Investors aren't very much attracted to those markets. It just doesn't look like it's the wise thing to do. And so there's a number of places that investors typically run to, and they don't look that positive. So this is kind of unusual. Just want to point that out. But the cryptocurrency space is kind of interesting because we had a recent jump of probably 600 points 2 days ago on Bitcoin alone. And the cryptocurrency space seems to be, in my opinion, attracting some of that risk capital, the capital that needs to earn a decent return for investors, people who are institutional investors, people with a lot of money. They typically like to quickly get their money out of one area and put it into another area where they're going to get a decent return. And right now, that only area just might be cryptocurrencies. So just keep that in the back of your mind in terms of where does money go to when it runs out of all the choices. Money, has to find somewhere to go to, right? So the inflows just might be cryptocurrency, so we need to keep our eye on that. Besides, Fidelity launching major custodial services for Bitcoin and Ethereum for institutional investors, and amongst all of the other large banks and such want to get into this space. More than likely, that's going to be the only game in town, as far as I can see. If you know anything different, then you can put it in the comment section. We'll talk about that. So how you guys doing? My name is Monty Henry, owner of DPL Surveillance Equipment, and I run a full-service surveillance and security equipment company, and we have lifetime guarantees and warranties on all of our products. We even have 24/7, 365 tech sales and customer support. We have the largest inventory of items. And not only can you buy, but you can rent to layaway as well. And we have a huge and growing media center. The media center is basically an accumulation of articles and podcasts and blogs and demonstration videos. It's part of one of the largest and diverse media centers especially in the surveillance and security space, if not to mention, if not exceeding that of other companies as well, online particularly. A lot of companies just don't, put a lot of emphasis on what I call quality content and a variety of information that goes beyond the core product or service that they offer. We're trying to offer you something that goes way beyond the core product that we offer, so you can just enlighten yourself on such things as cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. You can read about economics and finance. You can read about cybersecurity, counter-surveillance and surveillance, of course, even health and fitness. So and then there's a miscellaneous category for those of you who want to just check out some, even wider, diverse amount of material it's under the miscellaneous section in the articles directory and in the video directory and all that the other places on the website. We don't like. Well, before I get to that, we do accept Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, and Bcash in our shopping cart. So your crypto millionaires may want to take advantage of the idea that you can drop some of that crypto wealth on us and get your favorite spy gadgets. They're all state-of-the-art, law enforcement grade, 24/7, 365, lifetime guaranteed and warranted products, by the way. And we have a huge amount of new items and used items. I know a lot of people like to save money nowadays, and who doesn't like to save money? So take advantage of the used category of items. It's very easy to navigate. They don't have the lifetime guarantee and warranty, of course, but you do save a lot of money on used products. So the used products are basically the formerly rented products that were rented out for like a week or two or something like that. Customers typically take care of the rented products, by the way, so they end up being used, but they're basically, a lot of them are just like new. Some of them are still in the original packaging, pretty much. What else is going on? Oh yeah, we don't like MasterCard and Visa and American Express and Discover. We don't like the big banks, HSBC, UBS, Wells Fargo, Citibank. We think all of them are ripping you guys off and ripping us off. The huge amount of fees that we pay as merchants, $70 billion a year, that doesn't help us at all. And we need to get away from that system as much as possible. So just make sure you guys understand, when it comes to getting away from the fiat system, that's what we need to focus on. Not sending any business to American Express and Discover and MasterCard and dealing with the banks is just a mess, because they all rip us off. And besides, they've been accused and of everything imaginable, including money laundering, including manipulation of the various key interest rates that businesses and institutions use to conduct business between themselves. Even the LIBOR rates, I think, are also used for mortgage rate setting purposes. The LIBOR rate, that's been manipulated, and those companies have been settling losses left and right for rigging that particular interest rate. Even foreign exchange. American Express has been found guilty of charging customers a lot of money for foreign exchange. Customers didn't know it until journalists and reporters and investigators found out and reported that, and now American Express is paying a lot of money to settle that. So, it just goes on and on and on. $256 billion laundered by Russians through Estonia Bank in Europe. Nobody, supposedly nobody knew about that until it was discovered way later on. Who knows how much money actually went through the system. $13 billion settled by J.P. Morgan for their part in the, what was it, $13 billion for, I can't remember, but look it up. Just type in $13 billion settlement for J.P. Morgan, and you'll see that they also had, that was a record fine, so that's kind of interesting. People are setting records for the wrong reasons. Anyway, moving right along. The website has been completely redesigned, by the way, so go there on your smartphone, laptop, iPad, smart, it doesn't matter. It should look very well and load very quickly with those devices. And let's see, let's get into the article because it may be a lengthy article and I want to cover as much as possible. Okay? There's an idiot in office called Donald Trump who insists upon making an ass out of himself at every opportunity he gets. Rather than talking about intelligent issues and communicating in a eloquent manner like Barack Obama and some of the other predecessors, this idiot gets into these stupid debates and discussions about such things as the nationality of people. You know, supposedly Barack Obama wasn't a citizen of the United States. Supposedly Elizabeth Warren didn't have Indian ancestry. Now this guy who's supposed to be fantabulously, he's supposed to be like a billionaire, right? You think he would have had his investigators verify for a fact that this lady was not of Indian ancestry. But lo and behold, Elizabeth Warren does a DNA test and confirms that a couple of generations ago there was indeed members of her family who were Native Americans. So now this idiot who went out on a campaign or a rally event in Montana, he's talking about the fact that he will pay $1 million to the charity of her choice, Elizabeth Warren, and if she was not, if she was indeed, if she had Native American blood in her, any at all, right? So since she does, and she got the test done 2 days ago, now she's saying put up or shut up, right? So now this idiot Trump, this orange retard, is talking about, I didn't say it, right? But Bloomberg Radio, owned by a billionaire who actually investigates very thoroughly because he employs journalists and reporters who actually have a commitment to get it right? So they send out people and they flesh out these stories and they make sure that they get the facts straight. Anyway, they recorded a campaign rally where Donald Trump is saying to everyone on the planet that he'll pay $1 million. And anyway, I'll include that, but it's just amazing. I just have to ask one question. Do you have to be retarded to be a Trump supporter? Or what? What type of people are these people? Between Trump and his supporters, what planet are these people on? He's going in front of those audiences saying the most stupid things imaginable, the most racist, it's not even that it's so much racist, it's just ignorant. In the 21st century, we have people who don't do any research, don't have any opinions of their own. They're just following this moron like lemmings off a cliff. And then we have to spend time sorting through the madness that he calls conversation, right? So instead of us having intelligent conversations between each other, now we get a moron who embarrasses himself in front of the United Nations, who every time he starts speaking, the analysts and the experts have to correct him, whether it's the people laughing at him because he thinks that in all the history of the United States that Donald Trump's administration has done more than any other administration in history of the world, I think he said. But they keep correcting him over and over again. Anyway, let's take a look at this story because I can go on and on and on. Democratic senator refutes President Trump's assertion that she's been lying about family history. Senator Elizabeth Warren, D., Massachusetts, released the results of a DNA analysis Monday indicating strong evidence she has Native American ancestry in a high-profile effort to refute President Trump's assertion that she's been lying about her family history. In a sign of intensifying preparation ahead of a possible 2020 presidential run, Ms. Warren on Monday unveiled a website on video highlighting an analysis from Carlos Bustamante, a professor of biomedical data science and genetics at Stanford University that found while the vast majority of her ancestry is European, she likely had a Native American ancestor from 6 to 10 generations ago. Whether Ms. Warren has Native American heritage has been the source of a long-running dispute with Mr. Trump. The president has often referred to the senator mockingly as Pocahontas, the name of a 17th century Native American woman, including at a White House event last November honoring a group of Native American men for service during World War II. Mr. Trump, when asked about Ms. Warren's DNA test Monday, told reporters, "Who cares? I hope she's running for president because I think she'd be very easy," Mr. Trump said. He said Ms. Warren could destroy our country and make our country into Venezuela. Well, I just want to make an editorial note. Having a $1 trillion budget deficit, that's going to make this country into a Venezuela quicker than anything else. When you devalue your currency to the point where it's worth less than zero, that's a good way of making your country into a Venezuela or worse. Ms. Warren, in a tweet on Monday, reminded Mr. Trump that he had pledged at a Montana rally to write a $1 million check to the charity of her choice if you take the test and it shows you're an Indian. By the way, at Real Donald Trump, remember saying on 7/15 that you give $1 million to a charity of my choice if DNA showed Native American ancestry. I remember, and here's the verdict. Good night. Let's give you guys. My wife is leaving. I remember, and here's the verdict. Ms. Warren wrote on Twitter Monday, "Please send the check to the National Indigenous Women's Resource Center. The nonprofit works to prevent violence against Native American women and children." Asked about the pledge to write a $1 million check if Ms. Warren took a DNA test, Mr. Trump said, "I didn't say that. You better read it again." So this moron doesn't even understand. Look, there's nothing to read. We have video and we have cameras. And the video clearly shows, and you guys can see, unless you're completely delusional, that this guy went on record stating things that completely he doesn't want to back up and admit to. So that's the bottom line. Mr. Trump had made the $1 million pledge as part of a scenario in which if he were debating in a hypothetical 2020 race, he would ask her to take a DNA test. Well, I guess he doesn't have to worry about this hypothetical situation because now that she took the initiative to get the test done, the only thing he has to do is either look at her test and have it analyzed by experts and prove that it's faulty or something, or get his own test done, right? That's what you do when you have a half a brain. You get their evidence and you disprove it, if you can, and then you take subsequent additional tests to make sure that your tests are indeed accurate as well. So, anyway, since people don't think anymore, I had to lay that out there, especially Trump supporters. Asked about Ms. Warren's DNA test later in the day, Mr. Trump said he would only give the $1 million pledge he pledged to charity if he could do the test himself, though he added that it would not be something I would enjoy. Now, he didn't qualify. See, think about when you listen to these idiots make these statements, the original statement had no qualifications. It had no restrictions or conditions. This idiot merely said in front of the whole world, because we have video, and everybody recorded it, right? And Bloomberg especially published the audio so we could hear it word for word, and I have a video of it as well. There was no conditions. There was no qualifications. There was no restrictions. Now the moron wants to go on record now, after the fact, oh yeah, if I issue the test, if I do this, if I can do that, right? After the fact, he wants to qualify it. Moving right along. During her 2020 Senate race, Ms. Warren faced accusations she had portrayed herself as part of as part Native American to advance her academic career by sometimes describing herself as white and other times designating herself as a minority. Then a Harvard Law School professor, she said, at the time she had earned her jobs in academia and that she learned of her Native American heritage through family lore. In a video released Monday by Ms. Warren's campaign, several academic officials from the University of Texas Austin Law School and Harvard Law School, amongst others, said Ms. Warren's ancestry wasn't a factor in the decision to hire her. Excuse me. My background played no role in my hiring, Ms. Warren said in the video. Ms. Warren, excuse the noise, you guys. Ms. Warren, who grew up in Norman, Oklahoma, said in the video that her father's family had opposed her marrying her mother because she had Native American heritage. The two eloped when her mother was 19 and her father was 20. Ms. Warren said in a video where she discussed her family history with her three older brothers, her daughter, and other relatives. Trump denies promise to give $1 million to charity if Warren proved her Native American DNA. This is the second part. At a July 5th rally in Montana, President Donald Trump went on a lengthy rant about one of his favorite targets, Miss Elizabeth Warren, Democratic Massachusetts, and her claim to Native American ancestry. Even then, Warren was rumored to be a likely Democratic presidential candidate in 2020. Trump, with glee, told the rally crowd he looked forward to making Warren prove her Native American heritage on the debate stage if the two were to square off. I'm going to get one of those little DNA testing kits, and in the middle of the debate, when she proclaims she's of Indian heritage, Trump said, and we will say, I will give you $1 million to your favorite charity, paid for by Trump, if you take the test and it shows you're an Indian. The crowd cheered. So that was basically all he said in the full context. And now he wants to qualify it. Now he wants to put conditions on it and all of that other stuff, restrictions. Is insane, because when you have a moron who shoots off his mouth without thinking first, that's why you have to go back and put qualifications and conditions. But look, it's an insult to my intelligence and a waste of my time to even make a podcast about an orange, fat, retard moron who basically is using the family's wealth to pretend like he actually accomplished something. But that's what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going over this stupid idiot shit from this bogus president that we have in office as if I have nothing better to do. So moving right along. The crowd cheered. And let's see what she does, Trump continued. I have a feeling she will say no, but we will hold that for the debates. Do me a favor, keep it within this room. Okay, some more idiot comments from this guy. After that Montana debate, Warren brushed off Trump's taunts as she had multiple times before, whenever he deployed his derisive Pocahontas nickname for her. Well, typically that's what we do when you have a complete idiot and moron, or idiot and morons talking and going on and on and on. You have to move on. You have to just ignore them. Maybe there's a big hole in the ground that we can just dump these people into, and we don't have to worry about it anymore. Moving right along. Early Monday morning, however, Warren called Trump's months-long bluff by releasing a DNA test that suggested she did have a distant Native American ancestor. Warren also indicated she had forgotten about Trump's promise in July. Remember saying on 7/5, July 5th, that you'd give $1 million to a charity of my choice if my DNA showed Native American ancestry, she tweeted Monday. I remember, and here's the verdict. Please send the check to the National Indigenous Women's Resource Center. The charity she chose is a nonprofit that seeks to protect Native American women from violence. Send them your $1 million check, at Real Donald Trump, Warren added. Warren said she took the test because she had nothing to hide, then dared Trump to release his tax returns. This is also a part that no one wants to acknowledge. Okay, these idiot supporters, including the president himself, they totally forgot there was a tax return related issue. Okay? We need to see the tax returns. We just want to know for our own edification that this guy is actually on the up and up in terms of him doing with his money what a responsible person would do. If you have something to hide, then that's different. But if you have nothing to hide, you release the tax returns. We don't give a fuck about the IRS is still doing audits, and it's never going to end. And then we find out that the IRS actually says no. If he wants us to go ahead and release what we have, we would do that. So, unless all of these people are completely retarded and don't have a clue in terms of how things work, then we don't need to be pretending like there's an issue getting tax returns. Standing on a soggy White House lawn Monday, Trump denied he had ever made the promise. Who cares, he told reporters when asked if he heard about Warren releasing the results of her DNA test. I guess his moron would say who cares, even though he brought it up. He made an issue out of it. Now he says who cares. So something's wrong mentally with this person, okay? You don't go on a fucking rally using derisive racial comments about someone that are completely unfounded unless you absolutely understand the repercussions. That means that at some point in the future, you're going to prove your point, or you just don't raise these points. But to raise points and then tell everybody, oh, never mind, I don't think it's important, is completely insane. Anyway, this is what we have in office. Another reporter brought up his promise of a $1 million charity donation. I didn't say that. Trump said, nah, you better read it again. Soon after the Hill posted a fact-checked headline, Trump denies offering $1 million for Warren DNA test, even though he did. Earlier Monday, Kellyanne Conway, counselor to the president, dismissed Warren's DNA test as junk science, an early indication that Trump is not likely to follow through on the donation he promised he now denies having made. I haven't looked at the test. I know that everybody likes to pick their junk science or sound science depending upon the conclusion. It seems some days, Conway told reporters, but I haven't looked at the DNA test and it really doesn't interest me. Well, again, you have too many people chiming in on a subject that doesn't interest them. They don't know anything about it. They haven't done any homework or research, nothing at all, but they're giving their opinion. Let's move on, guys. Trump has had a long history of making bold pledges to donate large sums of money to charity without actually delivering on those promises, as the Washington Post's David A. Fahrenthold uncovered in a series of articles that won the 2017 Pulitzer Prize for National Reporting. Fahrenthold said he was first intrigued by the question after Trump claimed during his presidential campaign he had raised $6 million for veterans, including $1 million of his own money. Over the course of his reporting, Fahrenthold recounted Trump often did not follow through on his promised donations until pressured by the media, as evidenced by an exchange in May 2016. On the phone, I asked Trump, would you really have given this money away if I hadn't been asking about it? You know, you're a nasty guy, he said. You're a really nasty guy. Now, this is the most that this idiot, moron, yellow or orange retard could say, is you're a nasty guy. Instead of saying, look, the donation has been made, and here's the proof. That's all you have to do if you're responsible, especially financially responsible. Moving right along. A few days later, Trump held a news conference in Trump Tower where he answered my other question, where was the remainder of the money Trump had raised from other donors 4 months earlier. Turns out it had been sitting in the Trump Foundation unspent. In the news conference, Trump announced that he had given the last of it away, and he had lashed out at the media for asking him to account for the money. So that's what you do. You get defensive when you're an idiot and you haven't done what you're supposed to do. When you're lying, you caught lying, you get defensive, just in case you guys don't know that either. Moving right along. Instead of being like, thank you very much, Mr. Trump, or Trump did a good job, everyone said, who got it, who got it, who got it, and you make me look very bad, Trump said. I have never received such bad publicity for doing such a good job. I think you deserve it. Moving right along. Immediately after denying he had promised to donate to a charity of Warren's choice, Trump seemed to welcome her as an opponent in 2020. I hope she's running for president because I think she'd be very easy. Trump told reporters, I hope that she is running. I do not think she'd be difficult at all. She'd destroy our country. She'd make our country into Venezuela. With that being said, I don't want to say bad things about her because I hope she'd be one of the people that would get through the process. The charity Warren selected did not immediately respond to a request for comment Monday. Though the National Indigenous Women's Resource Center is a nonpartisan organization, the group issued a condemnation last November of Trump's continued use of Pocahontas as a derisive term. Citing statistics from the National Institute of Justice, the NIWRC stated that 84.3% of American Indian and Alaska Native women experience violence in their lifetime. The overwhelming majority at the hands of non-Native perpetrators who often act with impunity. The president's invocation of Pocahontas as a joke only served to promote harmful stereotypes and continue violence against Native women, the group said. Just as Pocahontas is deserving of respect, so too are the many American Indians and Alaska Native veterans who have fought proudly on behalf of the United States, including the Native women who have served or continue to serve our country, the group stated. The use of the name Pocahontas in any manner other than by way of acknowledging her courage and offering a subsequent apology by any sitting president dehumanizes this relative who, as a child survivor of rape, experienced colonization and genocide at the birth of the United States of America. So again, this orange moron, retard, trailer park trash idiot who just happens to have a lot of money seems to forget the whole history of Pocahontas. Whenever you use a term that even comes close to insulting such a pivotal character in the history of the United States, they don't know the full context of what that represented at all. Because a victim of rape, a woman who's a minority citizen, who we happen to be going through this Me Too movement where every chauvinistic pig out there is looking at accusations and jail time and firings from major corporations and being kicked out and fired from government offices. I don't think this is a matter to be taken lightly. But at the same time, again, we have this retard in an office in the highest position who totally takes for granted that this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity where he can actually prove that he has some sympathy, that he can garner the female vote, that he can appeal to the intelligence of women and people overall. But what does he do? He totally misses it. He blows this opportunity to demonstrate that he's willing to donate to the charity of women and suffering individuals, that he understands the plight of the people who are less well off than some of those people who have inherited a lot of money from the rich parents and such. Anyway, as I like to say at the conclusion of every podcast, keep your eyes and ears open and stay safe out there, you guys. Have a great day. Thanks. Take care. Bye.